for our test, which is coming up. Let's get back just a little bit. Okay. So we've been doing expressions, equations. Tell me the difference between expressions and equations. Has an equal sign, so it can be solved. Good. So an expression can't be solved, right? So if I were to show you this, which one is the expression?
The
Top one. The bottom one is the equation. Okay, good. On the expressions, I need to be sure I can express them differently than I started. So if I give you an expression that looks like this, how could I simplify this?
You could simplify it by saying x plus 2 is 2x, so you could put.
Can I say x plus 2 is 2x?
No,
No, can I add those two together?
No, it's 2. You just distributed property.
Distributive property, very good. So this would give me 3 times x or 3x plus 3 times 2.
Oh, yes.
Good. So I'll have 3x plus 6. Okay?
And that is simplified.
That is simplified as far as I can go. Okay. So let's practice another one of those. What would this give me?
That
Good, good. Good, good. Perfect. Give me 5x plus 20. Good. What if I wanted it? What if I wanted to go backwards? What if I started with 5x plus 20? And I wanted to factor that.
you could divide it by 5. Divide 20 by 5.
Yes. So remember when I wrote that down, I would say 5 times x plus this is 5 times what? 4.
You just keep the 5.
And then I take the 5 out. Good, good, good. So what am I left with here?
X plus 4.
I took the 5 out, right? So what am I left with? 4. Good. Good. So that's going the other way. That is factor. Okay, excellent. All right, let's practice. Okay, x plus 3 equals 4. If we're going to solve this equation, what would be our first step?
Minus from the x on x side.
Good, which is 3.
Minus.
Right. Why are we minusing?
Because the opposite of adding.
Oh, exactly. So we will subtract 3 on both sides. And what are we going to have? X equals 1. Good. Why would x equal 2? What else equal 2? I would be careful with that. Good, good, good. Okay. Let's practice another. Okay. What would be our first step?
Draw your lines.
Good. Right. Why did I pick the 3? Good. And why is it subtract, Destiny?
Because when it goes over to the other side.
Okay, that works. Because it's added here. The opposite operation or the inverse operation is to subtract. So what are we left with on this side? And on this side? Okay. Now what? There?
You would divide by 2,
Exactly, both sides by 2.
and that just leaves x.
That's fine. What's 2 divided by 2?
1. Oh.
2 minus 2 is 0. 2 divided by 2. Anything divided by 7 is always 1. Good. Perfect.
So you can never find it by 0.
Unless you have a 0 in the numerator. 0 divided by 4 would be 0. Right? Okay. I'm going to give you a few. I want you to practice. Work those, and you want to look at them. You got your sheet? I want that you as your login, and it's X22XE5. Since you want it. Okay. Is your equation close? That's under B, and it's D44EC3. Exactly.
So how do
When we learn integers, what is positive over negative? Okay. All right, let's go over and see what we got. Our first one is 4x plus 2 equals 10. one not get 2?
I didn't buy some on the now.
Okay, let's see. What do we have to do here?
Minus 2.
Subtract 2. Okay. And then divide both sides by 4. Good. So what did we do?
Yeah, I just put up the
Okay. Okay, yeah. Divide by, okay. Good. See, I made it easy eventually. All right, let's try number 2. What answer did we get? You want to get, okay, good. So we added 2. Excellent. Excellent. Good job. Okay, number 3.
I got -1.
-1. Anybody get anything different? Okay, let's go through it. What do we do first?
Subtract.
Subtract 3.
Oh, I guess it is something.
You ignored it. Yes, that will happen. When you ignore it, it will make it wrong. Okay, so what do we have to do here?
Divide by
By -2. Good. Not just by 2, but by -2. So that the x becomes all along by something. So what is 2 divided by -2? That's where your integer rules. That's where your integer rules come in. You gotta make sure you know those. Okay. Let's look at number 4. Okay, we have 2 4s and 2 8s. Let's see what we did. Okay. We had to add 3. Good. Why are we adding 3 this time? There.
Because they subtracted.
Because we subtracted here. So the opposite or inverse operation. Okay. So what is left over here? 2x. And what's over here? 8. Now, what's our next step? Divide both sides. By what? 2. Good. And then multiply. What did y'all do?
Oh, I stopped.
Just stop.
That's what happens for number 1. I didn't do the other side.
Can't stop till you have the x all by itself. So, everybody good? Okay. Okay. That's right. We're gonna get better. Okay. What will be my first step to this?
Distributed property.
We wanna do that? Because we're going to have to distribute first. So 1/2 x.
Would it be minus?
Very good. Minus 1/2 times 4. And that's still there. Okay. So 1/2 x. That's just going to have to stay. What happens here?
Few times, you put 4 over.
Right? 4 over 1. Good. So 1 times 4 is 4. And 2 times 1 is 2. And now, what is 4 divided by 2? 2. So could I go ahead and write that?
So, can Miss Ball borrow one of your Chromebooks?
Is it a TV1?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Just get like 24 or whatever is on the box. Okay. What about now? What should I do now?
Now you do the thing. So, you gotta plus 2.
You could add 2. Good.
Yeah.
So now what do I have?
1/2 x.
Now what do I do?
You gotta divide. 1/2.
Okay.
10. If you divide 1/2 10, isn't that 5 divided by 5?
Let's look. 10 over 1 divided by 1/2.
Keep it Jacob.
Right.
So it's just 10 times 2 is 20. So 20 equals
Very good.
X.
Now, let me show you something else. Another way you can look at that. When I had 1/2 x equals 10, I've actually got this, right? Because 1x over 2 is the same as 1/2 x, right? Okay, when I have a 1x, do I have to put the coefficient? Do I have to put the 1? No. So I can take that away. And really what I have is x divided by 2, right? What's the opposite or inverse operation to x divided by 2? Times 2. So what if I just multiply both sides by 2? Oh, I see. So what do you get? Oh, so it works the same way.
That is much more simpler.
Isn't it? Because you don't like all those fractions. Same thing. So anytime you have it divided by something, you can do the inverse operation to that too. So what I want you to learn from that is that you can do anything you know how to do to solve an equation. As long as you do it to both sides, you can't go wrong. If it's a legitimate mathematical practice, then you can do it to anything as long as you do it to both sides. Because it will always work. You can't go wrong if you're doing legitimate mathematical practices. So let's look at okay, so this is a little more complicated, right? This is getting a little more than you're used to, right? Okay, what about 3/9? What do I know about 3/9?
It's equivalent.
To what?
1/3.
1/3. So can I go ahead and change that to 1/3? Sure. Because if it's equal to it, I can write it that way. Absolutely fine. Okay, now let's look at something. If I have a 3 as a denominator on both sides, if I multiply it by 3, what would happen to it? How would it change? No, if I multiplied by 3. If I decided I'm going to multiply both sides by 3. Could I do that? Yeah, because if I do it to both sides, I'm not changing anything, right? Okay, so what would happen to this? 3 over 3x, which is what? 1x. So just have an x there. What happens to this, though?
It goes to 18.
It would go to 18. What would happen to this?
It would go to 3.
No x. Is there an x over here?
No, it's
No,
not.
it'd just be 1. Okay, cool. Now what?
So now the x has a negative 18.
Now I'm subtracting 18. What do I get?
It's negative 17.
Negative 17. That's it. Can we see if that works?
You can check it.
Yes. How would we check it?
1/3 is 17 plus.
Okay. How would I figure this out?
You times 17 by 1/3.
Good. Yes.
How did you get there?
How do I get that? We decided it was negative 17, so we're just plugging it in where the X was. Because this is our check. Okay. Now what do I do?
Now we do what we did on the other side. No. Opposite. What you do is you add 16 to 17.
Okay, how can I add those?
18. You put
Right, 6 is over 1, and I gotta make common denominators. So what do I want my denominator to be? Yes. So it's already 3 here. If I want to turn 1 into 3, I'd have to do what? Multiply it by 3, so I have to multiply the top by 3.
What would I do to both sides? No, because there's not an A.
There's nothing, we're not doing anything to this, we're just changing the fraction itself. So we did it to the bottom and the top. We're not doing anything to the side, we're not adding anything, changing it. We're just substituting in and simplifying. Okay, so what's negative 17 plus 18? Oh, yeah, good. Kind of different.
I'm different equals 1/3.
All right, so we check.
Oh, you simplified it.
Yeah, just
And
okay. How was that? Easy? Yes. No, I think it's gonna be next week because of the snow day.
No, Dave. See, that's what my brain's all.
Got what you did. Okay.
I've been doing one thing, and now I'm not I'm getting a book one.
Give you a couple of problems to practice on. Yeah, I want you to practice this one. Okay, we'll talk about that after we get done. Excellent. 12. Or minus 12. You're ready to work. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what is 2 times 50? Mm-hmm. 30. Mm-hmm. And you still have this. Good. So it wants you to do that one. So I guess if you're not on 40. Well, I would have done the same thing. I thought it needed steps. Maybe it told you. Oh, okay. See where it says simplify, submit the simplified expression, so you might want to get your board and do that. Can you add those two together before you, what's the order of operations tell us?
The one in the comments.
Okay. Okay. But right there you have addition and you have multiplication, which comes first in order of operations.
Addition. Start.
Order of operations. Please excuse my doing it, Sally, remember that? Okay, so is multiplication division first or addition subtraction? Okay, so this would have to be distributed before you can add this up. So 4 times
12.
Good.
So, what's the 7 straight?
No, it's 4 times 2. Good. Now you still have 7 plus up there. Plus. Okay, now you can combine your like terms. No. If the plus sign's between it, then it's no longer distributed properly. It's just added. So you have a 7 and you have a negative 8.
Yeah, negative 1.
Good. So you have 12x. 12x minus 1 or 12x plus negative 1. Either way. Sorry. Good. Okay, how are we doing? Okay, let's start with okay, what do we do? Good. Okay, what does that give us? 1/2 x plus plus. That's what? 6 over 2. Good. And what is 6 over 2?
Right.
Yes. 6 divided by 2. Yes.
You gotta do it over 1 like the 6 over 1.
That will, yeah, you have to make sure that it's. Okay, let's get this. So what do we do here? Good. Okay. 4. Could I also write this as x over 2 equals 9? And then what could I do?
1.
No.
It's divided by 2. What's the inverse operation? Multiply.
What is it? 2x? 18.
You what now?
You said that x goes top, doesn't it go at the bottom too?
No, it's if it's beside it, then it's understood to be in the numerator. So it would be 1x over 2. That is a great question. Because it's multiplied by x, is what that really means. And x would be understood to be over a 1. So 1 times x and 2 times 1. That makes sense? That's why. Because it's understood to be multiplied by, not divided by. It sits beside it. Okay, does that one make sense? Alright, let's try. Okay, what's our first step? Good.
Yep.
So now I have 3/4 x. Okay. Now what? Okay.
Three minus two.
This is what I really have, right? What else could I do besides dividing? This is already divided by what? I can subtract it. What would I subtract? Multiply. I can multiply both sides by what? What's it divided by? 4. So I'd have to multiply it by, I'd have to do the inverse operation. So let's try that. Does that make those go away, right? So now what do I do? I'd have to divide by 3. Good. And what's 80 divided by 3? How many times will 3 go into 80? How many times will 3 go into 20? Now, how do I rewrite this? There's another way I could do it. It's easier. Exactly. A remainder of a divided. Good. Okay, that's not bad. Did you check that? If you check it, you'll find out that you're wrong. And that's my check works. So that easily check. Okay. Yes, all the time.
I bet they told you all the time, so I got like you never left the room.
That's so true.
I have white pink. The purple is that's a good.
3 over 4. Okay, hold on.
If I have to charge my studio rooms, I use those
What's the very first thing we have to make sure every time?
You can work with that.
Mine like terms. Good.
I need help with that. Oh, the same thing you know.
That is between them. The plus sign between them tells you that it's not distributed, right? So
You add them. One. Zero, 6, 3, 7.
But those are those like terms?
Yes. No.
No. Why?
So they don't hit like an 8.
Good. Perfect. So can't add them together if they're not like terms.
So 6.
There you go. Perfect.
I ain't even know where you was sitting over here.
No, I didn't realize you had it, but you said.
We do have some like terms here, right? So what are our like terms?
I'm gonna blow my nose.
Okay, what would that be? Good.
That's negative one.
Good. Okay, good. So now what?
So add one.
Okay, what's the farthest from my variable on this x side? Okay, it's, I'll add it, good.
One.
You add one.
Would I add one? I would divide it. I would not add one. Why?
That's the
But
real.
how would we leave a zero in front of
Do you want a zero? You want an x by itself. What's happening to the x right now? There you go. You just said it. It's being multiplied by -1, so I would divide it by -1. X.
I didn't get the plate.
Now we do -10.
Good.
Oh, Brandon, I'm so
Good, good, good. Okay, that's
my
good.
mom ain't really played.
Let's look at number 4 right quick, because we're going to run out of time.
Oh, that's Yaga.
I want to make sure that he's not
I
right.
can't put it in the plate.
Ooh, -2.
Okay, what would I do here first? What would be my first step?
Distribute -2 to x and 3.
Good. Let me ask you this. Could I subtract 7 minus 2 first?
No.
Why?
Because you have to depend on.
Exactly. I have to do order of operations. And the order of operations won't let me do the subtraction before the multiplication.
So the two we're gonna.
You know what?
I have to do that multiplication step first.
I'll do -2x and
Okay. Now what are our like
-6.
terms?
Add 6.
So what do I have here?
You have
It's
-13.
1. So I have -2x plus 1.
You didn't have to start over.
Yeah,
Keep it in.
Okay. That's our buzzer.
Hold on, stop.
So finish that one.
Stop.
Let's see what you get.
Stop. You're trying to be smooth, bro.
You guys in Wowzers can start to log off your computers.
Okay.
So what did we end up with?
You don't run like that here.
Guys,
You know you don't.
what would I have to do first?
We got brains just like me.
Good.
And then you'll get 2x equals.
Two.
Oh, I know.
You can't ignore that
Let's see,
negative.
get out of here,
It will come
please.
back to haunt you.
You got a hot top.
Shh, guys,
Hot top.
quietly please.
Mother like Jeremy.
Excellent.
Almost good.
Good job. You guys can start putting your things away.
Nope. I'm so excited.